Welcome to Subramani. I was reading an interesting case of about Vanderbilt, part of his history. Vanderbilt built the railroad in the U.S., New York, and when he built it, there were no rules about how it should be run, right? So he looked at it and he said, "Let me go and build it all anyway." Right, so clearly violation of rules, of travel rules, or whatever rules were applicable, he made those exceptions, and or rather he broke all those rules and became a huge success. Same thing, Rockefeller, the court I think called him an outlaw. He said, if just based on what you have done, you should be described, your company should be described as an outlaw or something to that effect. I think Taleb has said in his book. Right. So here are two people who are extremely wildly successful, and they have been wildly successful by breaking the law. Right. So would you appreciate it? Would you celebrate it? Would you say everybody should do this? I have my reservations. Right. We will not recommend this. So similarly, in India, the mutual fund industry and the life insurance industry is full of very successful people who broke one law called rebating. Rebating means if there is an insurance agent or a mutual fund agent, there is a manufacturer. The manufacturer gives an X amount of commission, and the end result and the end investor wants a part of that commission. So let's say this agent gets 100 rupees and he thinks he wants to part back 50 rupees with the end customer. Nothing right or wrong about this, but there was a law which says this is illegal. It was illegal in life insurance, it was illegal in mutual funds. I don't think in mutual funds it was considered to be illegal, but yeah, there was this rule that you should not rebate. Why should there be a rule? Let's not get into it because it makes no sense, right? Here is the manufacturer who pays an X amount of commission to the dealer decides to pass it on. It happens in every industry. But in this industry, because the big players like a bank or a Citibank or an HDFC Bank or an ICICI Bank couldn't do it, they very beautifully brought in a law saying rebating is illegal. But any of the top advisors you meet, whether in insurance or mutual funds, who have been there for 30-40 years, would have all done rebating. I'm not even getting into right wrong of it. So this has happened in the past, and when you look at, has anybody been prosecuted for doing this? I don't know, and I don't even know what is the penalty. I just know legally this was considered to be wrong. So, well, some people would do it, many people won't do it. I mean, or rather, many people would do it, some people won't do it. Some people would do it only for a particular transaction size. For a small transaction, he wouldn't do. For a bigger transaction, she would do or he would do. I even know of people who have done transactions which were very big, where the first prize for doing it was a Mercedes Benz, and the company asked in whose name should we give the car, right? So it was very clear that the rebate was happening and rebating was happening. And similarly, it must be happening in every other industry, and it is wrong to believe that the company didn't know it, that the MD of the company didn't know it, the regulator didn't know it. Everybody knew it, right? So everybody knew it, and everybody was and then there would be praise by the chairman saying, oh, he has done so well, she has done so well, she's the number one, he's the number one. All that praise would happen, and everybody would say, chuckle, chuckle, we know what is happening, right? So I think it is very difficult when you are judging people to, we normally will have to judge by outcome. We cannot judge by process because we do not know the process of a small entrepreneur who is doing business. Is he breaking the laws? Maybe he is breaking the laws. Maybe he is even bribing somebody in the company to get an advance notice of the scheme, right? All those things are happening. I know dealers who have enough inside information about the pricing of a product, and if some big price rise is going to come, they just hold on to the stocks. They don't sell it till the new price comes. Of course, I know one set of people who have been hurt because the company decided to cut prices, and then they all wanted credit notes for what happened, but that's a different story, right? So first of all, I think there is more to breaking the laws which you yourself make, right? So the one line which I like to say is always, if you look at the number of transactions which Warren Buffett does, it is not as though he does very few transactions. There is a lot of trading activity involved in his investment also. Similarly, Benjamin Graham held on to Geico for an extremely long time when the prices had gone up, breaking all the rules that he had himself made in his book or written in his book, and he made a lot of money. So once a person makes a lot of money, then it's okay, you can break the rules, right? Virendra Sehwag broke the rules. He did not have great footwork, but he had fantastic timing, and he would hit every ball for a 6 or a 4 or whatever, right? That's how he did. He broke many of the rules which Gavaskar or a Vengsarkar would have never broken. So this guy broke the rules. He made runs, and he's very successful. So similarly, companies have in the past been very cruel towards its competitors. They've killed their competitors. Reliance did it in case of telecom. Uber and Ola did it to the taxi drivers. No political support for the taxi drivers, in spite of the fact that there was one Uber or one Ola versus hundreds and thousands of taxi drivers. Still, the technology meant that these people could be crushed, and the company succeeded. I'm not even saying whether it is right or wrong, because you can always hide under the fact that the customer is always right, and whatever is good for the customer will prevail. So similarly, whether it is airline ticket booking, right? It used to have 8% commission for the airline agents. Suddenly one day internet came and all that went, and companies started selling air tickets to you directly. Similarly, whether it is mutual fund, life insurance, bank deposits, everything, even I don't know why postal products are not available online, but somebody did all that, and many of these agents were wiped out. Again, nothing right or wrong, but it's very clear that when you are learning, you have to learn from very broad patterns. So let me give you this example from my life. When I started investing in 78, 79, I mean, it was a lot of only my father's money. I had decided that I will invest in MNCs, because all the MNC IPOs were coming, and MNC IPOs I thought would do well. There was no logic or reason to think that Colgate, HUL, Siemens, Cummins, it used to be called Kirloskar Cummins, or Richardson Hindustan, which is today's Procter & Gamble, that only these companies would do well. But it was always thought that if you applied in the primary market, you cannot make a loss. It is a stupid thought today, but that day it was right, because there was controller of capital issues who in his own idiosyncrasies decided that Garden Vareli should be priced at 10 plus 70, and Hindustan Lever at 10 plus 15, and Advani Oerlikon at 10 plus 2. So I knew there was some idiosyncrasies, but I also knew the bureaucrat will never allow overpricing. And I was proved right, at least for the next 20-30 years, I was proved right that the MNC companies continue to do well. There was nobody trying to replace a Colgate or a HUL or even a Siemens or a Cummins or Asian Paints. Asian Paints is given such a feeling. But all those companies, Pfizer, none of those companies were ever challenged, whether it is FMCG or whether it was pharma. So I always thought that this strategy will work, but we have to understand that some strategies will also expire. So tomorrow, if a Dabur or a Patanjali do extremely well, will they be able to replace a Colgate or a HUL? I don't know. Will the Trump's coming hurt Pfizer? I am convinced it will. So I was proved right over a long period of time, 45 years, that Colgate, HUL and all are not going to have any competition. And my basic theory that MNCs are better managed and have better accounting practices than Indian promoters was proved to be right. But if I were a shareholder of Citibank and Standard Chartered Bank, I would have been taken to the cleaners, because their business of home loans and car loans was taken away by HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank. Such a thing did not happen in FMCG. Such a thing did happen in pharma. So in pharma, I had Glaxo, I had Pfizer, I still have a little bit, maybe I'll get rid of it. But Sun Pharma, Lupin, Cipla, Dr. Reddy Laboratory, all of them came and did very well. So strategies do expire. So you will have to re-look and rethink about your strategy. Based on outcome, I've been right for FMCG MNCs. I may have been wrong for MNC banks, but MNC banks were not listed, luckily or unluckily for me, or I would definitely be holding shares of Stancy and Citi because George Fernandez would have forced them to sell shares here. So, and I would have bought it simply because I believed MNCs will do well. I also believe that PSUs will not do well. The person who changed my view about that is little infamous, but he's alive. His brother died in police custody. Now you can go and guess who it is, right? So I think when you look at case studies, you have to look at the pattern of saying this person broke this law and did this person did not break the law and did this, right? Because breaking of laws is very risky. It could completely take you to the cleaners. Uber and Ola, there could have been a big strike by taxi drivers and you could have gone, they could have gone under. Luckily that didn't happen worldwide. I'm sure Uber fought a lot of battles in the US because the taxi unions are very strong. In India, the taxi unions did try to create, did try to fight, but didn't happen, right? So sometimes by breaking the laws, by just bulldozing yourself through the laws, you can win. Sometimes you try doing it and you lose because the other side is very strong, right? These kind of things happen. Look at Punjab. The government could not push through agri reforms because the agents did not want it to go through. So you don't know, I mean, that's not a listed company. If Punjab were listed or Government of India was listed, then you could have seen the impact. Here you did not see the impact, but it is a huge loss for the manufacturer, who is the farmer in this case, right? So when you see these laws being broken, it's a very difficult call to take. Do you think this entrepreneur will be able to push through the laws, change of government, any of those things would happen? It's going to be very interesting times in the US with the Trump in power. Let's have a look at that later. Thank you. Bye.